Hey all, it's Natalie for Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and I have another layout using the Rad Limitless kit. I just love this kit. It's so fun and cool. I printed these little bitty pictures and I'm gonna fit them inside one of those awesome film strips that you see there. I'm gonna use that as my title. I'm gonna use that fun little iPhone die from Waffle Flower Crafts, and we're gonna play around. So I'm gonna pick this paper from Paper Rose, and it's like a cool retro stripe. I'm just trying to decide on the color of film strips. I go with the orange, but I'm going to use those two full color ones behind it. And I've cut down all my little photos, and I've made a few different cuts of the frame to the phone to build up like some height. And I'm going to ink it up with this speckled egg distress oxide because I felt like that matched one of the stripes really well in the paper. And I've also die cut a few scraps to match with the red and blue over on the left. And the phone is going to sit on the right side of the page. I kind of didn't show you guys about like what I was thinking along the way, but I set that aside to dry, and I'm going to use this really skinny cherry tape that I have to stick down the film strip to a white background, and then I'll just stick the photos inside of each of the little frames. I'm just sticking that really skinny tape on the middle bits. I don't want it to show through any of those clear squares on either side, so I just cut the paper skinny enough to fit in between them. So these are photos of the last day before school started, and we went and had a super fun day out, and it was funny, and I spent way too much money on those ugly shoes called Crocs. It was awful and it hurt my heart, but there's a funny text interaction with my brother that we're documenting here on this little phone, and it's super funny. My son had bought gibbets, the little charms, for your Crocs, and he wanted me to text my brother because they both love D&D, and they were D&D gibbets, and he was like, you need some of these, and he was like, no, they're dress Crocs. They're dress Crocs. They were sad beige Crocs. And yeah, so I'm assembling that little die. It's fun, and I really love to use it to document things like this. But I will say it's a little fussy. So like it's got a lot of parts to it. So, and I should have put the insides down before I put that frame on. I learned that. So it's just a lot to work with here. But we got it. I'm coloring up some of the little circles to fill in because I did think that I wanted some of the white, but it was like a little bit of too much of white to pop out from the die. Oh, look, my tweezers light up. I'm on the blog today at Not Just for Boys Kit Club, so I will link that down below. So go check me out, and you can see all the still photos, and you can also buy your kit. There's still a few of these in stock, and like I said previously, it's one of my favorite kits that they've made. It's super fun, just a really fun design to use. If you got some fun photos to scrap, like these are bright and fun, and I said fun a lot. I hope you get the idea. It will be a really great kit to scrap your fun photos. So I'm going to stick those down kind of crossed, and then I'm going to pop up the one with the photos on some foam tape. But there you can get the idea of kind of of what I'm going with this and the design wise. But so I'm using the thickers from the kit to spell out R.I.P. And then that summer little die cut is just from my stash. And then I'm actually going to pull out some really old stickers as well. And so my title is going to say R.I.P. Summer Break. And I'm going to stick the R.I.P. on top of one of those little die cuts from Paper Rose. So I'm just sticking those two down directly to the page. And then I'm going to use the Vicky Bouton Print Shop stamps. These were in the Rad add-on, Rad Essentials add-ons, which I highly recommend because you also get those awesome black puffy stars you can see over at the top right, and a few other awesome goodies. But these stamps are super fun, and I think they translate to scrapbooking really well. So I'm using them to just kind of anchor my two main elements on my page. And so I'm just doing first and second generation stamping. I'll go through and add a little bit of black splatter as well to just kind of add to the distressed look of the page and bring cohesion. I had a lot of fun with these little stamps. I definitely can see me using these a ton in my scrapbooking. now there I am adding the splatter. So I just put a little bit on my glass mat and add some water. And I like little splatters. So I just mostly keep them around the area where I stamped. And that just adds to the distressed nature of my page, which is my vibe. Usually almost every page that I do is distressed. So what are we doing here next? Oh, I'm going to ink up all the edges. So I didn't rough up the edges of this die, but I did ink it up to help it pop off the page. And then I do rough up the edges of all the paper rose dies that I choose. This die kit it's like a little collection pack, and it's called Hey Mate. So I picked out one that says Legend and one that says So Sick, because you know those Crocs are sick, man. And I was sick with how much I had to pay for them, and they're so ugly and I hate them, but they love them. Oh, me. So I am sticking down, committing to the placement. I mean, there's not really any other option. So I do want to run those two die cuts, the word ones, up and down ways. So I had to figure out the best way to make them look good, and just kind of putting everything on the page how I think I want it. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to make some journaling strips. So I wanted to kind of lay this out before I printed my journaling strips to make sure how I exactly wanted those to look as well. So there's my very, very old, they're like from my stash, but they're clear stickers, and so they're going to say break. And then, so I decided to go with this die. I'm going to stick it up and down, and the Legend one, I'm going to rotate it. So basically they're both reading facing inward. So I felt like that kind of helped bring cohesion to adding those two dies. So I'm showing you that's where I'm going to add my journaling strips, and I printed them off, and you can see them over here on the right. And I did pop them up on really skinny little strips of foam tape to kind of mimic the pop-up. I popped up that film strip, and then I'm also going to pop up the Legend die cut. So I'll just have a few elements on my page that are popped up on foam tape to just kind of bring cohesion to that. Like just repeating elements really helps to give your page a feel that it is meant to be that way. So I am adding extra adhesive with my Nuvo behind those stickers because they're really thick and they are chipboard, and they're probably not going to stay really well if I don't add extra adhesive. And yeah, so I'm going to stick down the word break, and they're clear, so I can kind of overlap them so that it looks like they're almost writing written on the page, and they like with a brush lettering, I guess, is kind of the idea of it. And I'm so glad that I got these fun memories documented. We went and we got coffee at Starbucks. Of course, they're not drinking coffee, but and they got new Crocs, and then we went to Dave & Buster's, and they played video games, and we did Dance Dance Revolution. It was a good fun day. And after I get everything down, I need a little bit more. So I do pull out another one of the die cuts from that pack. Well, actually a few of them. So I pull out a couple circles, so they mimic the one circle that I put the R.I.P on top of, and they kind of match the colors and the stripes on the back paper. So I love that. And I'm going to layer those with some of the black puffy stars. I use 3, and I create a visual triangle on my page with those 3. And then I also pulled out one of those little camera charms that come in the Rad Limitless kit. And then lastly, I pulled out that awesome die. So it kind of finishes up my journaling. It gives another title at the bottom. So I say R.I.P. Summer Break. I say what we did, and then I finish it with Awesome Day. So I thought that was a nice conclusion to like my little journaling, and then it also just really balanced out nicely with the journaling with a big title piece again at the bottom, along with the puffy star to finish out that visual triangle. And I think that's gonna be it. Like I said, I'm gonna link down below to where you can pick up this kit in the store, not just for Boys Kit Club. You can also see me on the blog today. I'll link that down below. And let me know if you have any questions at all. I'd love to answer in all of my comments. And yeah, this was such a fun page to make. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.